Hello, everybody. I am so excited to bring to you a special edition, I would like to say, of my Be Good to You video series. I am interviewing a friend from way back. We went to high school, we were in choir, we were in all of these things together. My friend and recent reconnection because of Facebook with Mauro, and I am so excited to interview him. He is, let me see if I can get all of these titles right. He is a singer, songwriter, actor, director, producer, screenwriter, uh, director, did I already say that? Motivational speaker, and he is a transformation coach. So I am so excited to interview you today, Al, and just to sort of talk to you about being good to yourself. So thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Absolutely, Kristen. You're amazing, and it's been a long time coming.
Awesome. All right. Well, then let's get this started. So share with me your health story and how you weren't being good to yourself.
Well, I think we'd have to kind of start at the beginning a little bit um, and go back to my school days, way before you and I met. And I was a military brat, so I grew up in Hawaii and Guam and different things. And when I lived in Guam, especially, I was around 14 years old, and I was the only white kid in school. Maybe there was one or two others, but I never barely saw them. And I think because of the whole racial difference, when you're in a situation to where there is a group and then there's just you, well, there's going to be a lot of bad apples in that group that'll try to bully you and things like that. So that's when the whole thing started, to where I started feeling like I wasn't very important, that I was judged on the merit of my skin. I was judged on, I used to bring a guitar with me to school all the time, which never stopped. All throughout high school, I brought, a guitar, an amp, and wore a black leather jacket. I did the exact same thing in middle school in Guam with all these people who wanted to hurt me. So, so you can imagine my self-confidence was way down here, and it made me fight to bring out this other side of me, to look within myself and try to find some encouragement from within, because it sure as heck was not coming from anywhere out here. Okay, so it all had to come from inside me. And but my self-confidence was plummeting pretty much from day one since I got there, and you were called names a lot, and it wasn't just bullying, it was like insulting your humanity on a daily basis. And I had nothing wrong against any of the other kids that I was surrounding with. It was just the color of my skin. And so that's when that started, when I started really realizing that I needed to treat myself with respect, treat myself with some self-dignity and self-love. Because once again, it didn't come from out here. It had to come from in here. And I was forced, literally forced, to deal with that aspect. So that's the best way I can kind of explain that.
No, that's really insightful. It's interesting the things that happen in our childhood and how it creates the turning of time and what we do when we're older. So certainly can attest to that big time. So what habits and mental well-being practices do you do now to be good to yourself?
Well, I reward myself, for starters. I'll take my own self to a movie, okay? Showing myself that I am worthy of reward. Not that I seek reward, but showing myself that, like going back to my childhood, that I am a person, that I am an equal, that I am those things. So I must treat myself as an equal as well. So that's the first thing. And then after that, for many years, and what I practice now, I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of inner guidance and focusing, not so much on a spiritual level per se, but more on a sense of concentration, focusing on creating my reality that I see within myself. And by doing that, part of the thing that makes it so alive for me is the fact that I reward myself. So if I see the world engulfed in a beautiful light and all these wonderful kind of things, I make sure that I am also engulfed in that light, that I feel protected, I feel sustained, and that when I feel sustained, I can help sustain others.
That's awesome. One of the things that I've learned recently is we tend to um, we will sacrifice time with ourselves really, really easily. Okay. And we would not be really happy with friends of ours who within 10 minutes of having to meet or something that was planned, if we canceled all the time, or if we had a friend that canceled all the time on us, we wouldn't be very happy with that friend. So for some reason we have felt that it's okay to cancel those appointments with ourselves, and it's not okay. We need to still keep those appointments with ourselves, because with those appointments we have great energy, and we have a life, and we know that we're important. So
That's right. And it's all about integrity. It's about your personal integrity and self-worth. If you feel that within yourself towards you, you can therefore give that to someone else. And a lot of times, like even with yourself, Kristen, you're a mirror of goodness to me and to anyone else who talks to you. And that's the blessing about being around you with this. So if I didn't have that inner guidance, I know that if I encountered you, you would be firm in that and bring me to that place. So I've learned to always try to be a real pillar of that kind of integrity, because if people see that coming from me, it'll make them want to have it more for themselves.
oh, that's nice. Thank you for saying that, Al. That was very sweet. So in closing, what advice would you give to others to really encourage them to be good to themselves?
Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. Don't, you know, a lot of us grow up with a lot of religious backgrounds and philosophies and a lot of different things that are all valid. They're all valid. But very rarely do you validate yourself in these situations. And so self forgiveness, self love, which is not selfish, okay, because you are giving it back. You are giving and receiving. So it is not a selfish thing. It's a give and take thing. But it's not a selfish thing to love yourself. And to do that, you've got to forgive yourself, because you're always going to make mistakes. You're going to trip, you're going to stumble, you're going to say things you don't mean, you're going to feel things you don't really want to feel, and you're going to think things that you don't really believe in, because your mind races 1,000 miles an hour. So you've got to forgive yourself. You've got to make amends with other people, forgive them, allow them the chance to also forgive you, wrap it up, and move on. And by doing that, you'll create a clean slate for yourself. And if you do that, you'll have the foundation to build something magical on top of that. So it always has to start there.
That's awesome. Got to give yourself grace, right?
That's right.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Al. Words of wisdom. I love what you said. This has been awesome. I really appreciate you agreeing to do this interview with me, and more and more good things coming out of the Al camp, so to speak. I'm excited to see what you do in the future, and how this relationship of us transforming lives with other people, where that goes. So thank you again, Al, for agreeing to do this.
It's wonderful. I wouldn't have it any other way. You're amazing.
Awesome. Oh, thank you. Feeling is mutual. Thank you,
Thank
Al. Bye-bye.
you.